got to take it in for a minute. Congratulations. Congratulations to you all. So thank you, Dean Montrose, distinguished faculty, parents, family, and friends, and all of the 400 graduates of the Silverman School of Social Work at Hunter College in the class of 2014. Congratulations again to you all here today. And at the outset of my remarks, I would like to acknowledge the family of Sergeant Griselda Camacho. Your daughter's dedication to Hunter College and her dedication to the students at the Silverman School of Social Work were well known. I'm glad that we can honor her memory today. So graduates, I am deeply honored to share this special day with you and your families and your friends. Your hard work has paid off, and I hope that you're ready to put your education into action. I was somewhat surprised to have been invited to speak with you all today because I am not a social worker. I've worked with many social workers throughout the years, and I've worked in social services for 2 decades on behalf of children and families. And all throughout that time, I've had the privilege of working for social workers, working with social workers, and learning from social workers. My name is Gilbert Taylor. I am the Commissioner of the New York City Department of Homeless Services. I was appointed to this position by Mayor Bill de Blasio on December 31st, 2013. And prior to my appointment, as Dean Montrose had referenced, I served in numerous leadership positions in the city's Child Welfare Agency, also known as ACS, where I most recently oversaw the Child Protective Services unit with a staff of 3,500, mostly social workers, investigating over 50,000 reports of child maltreatment every year. And in my current position, I administer the largest homeless service system in this country. I have 2,000 staff working at DHS. We spend over $1 billion, and we contract with over 70 nonprofit agencies to provide shelter to individuals and families who are deeply in need in 251 locations throughout New York City. Every day at the same time since taking this position, I receive an email that tells me the number of single men and women, adult families, and families of children who are in New York City shelters. The number reminds me every day of how many people are in desperate need of a permanent place to call home. Today's email, which arrived at a little past noon, told me that in our shelter system, the census was over 53,000 individuals. 53,000 individuals that slept in shelter last night. There were more than 23,000 children amongst that group who slept in my shelter system last night. And within the past 7 days, and this is a metric that always resonates with me, 413 families within 1 week, 413 families with minor children entered shelter in New York City. And when you think about the numbers, they're staggering. And at the current rate, they'll stay in shelter for over 1 year seeking permanent housing. We have never seen this many people in shelter in the history of this city. We have never seen so many children in shelter in the history of this city. We are truly in the midst of a homeless crisis. So why should this matter? And most of all, why should it matter to you? It must matter to each of you because you can do something right now to make a difference in the life of New Yorkers who are in need and for all vulnerable populations in this city. Many of you have embarked upon this course of study to make a difference in the lives of people who need our help. I challenge you to answer the call to service for your community and for your city. I answered the call to service 2 decades ago. Had you told me 20 years ago that I would be in the position that I currently hold, I would not have believed you. In fact, 20 years ago, at this time, I had just moved back to New York City. I was studying for the bar exam. I had accepted a position to work at a mid-sized aviation and maritime firm. Yes, planes and boats. That's what I thought I would do. In their corporate transactional department. And social services, in all honesty, was not part of my plan. 6 months into my tenure at the firm, an opportunity presented itself for me to become in-house counsel at an educational advocacy program here in New York City, working on behalf of inner-city children who were enrolled in independent boarding and day schools throughout the Northeast. This experience changed my life professionally. It started me down the road of human services and social service work. Throughout the years, I've answered the call on multiple occasions since then. I answered the call to become an attorney for children. I answered the call to become an attorney administrator. I answered the call to become a public administrator. I answered the call to become a public child welfare administrator. And now I've answered the call at the request of the mayor to become a homeless services administrator. So how do you do it? How do you answer the call to serve your community in your city? Well, here's my advice to each of you. First, decide what you're passionate about and pursue it professionally. Begin by considering what populations you want to work with. Are you interested in working on behalf of children? I was, and I did, and it made a big difference in my life. Are you interested in working on behalf of the elderly? Are you interested in working on behalf of those who are affected by mental illness? Are you interested in working on behalf of survivors of domestic violence? Next, consider what type of work it is that you want to do. Are you interested in research? Are you interested in policymaking? Are you interested in direct service delivery? You can do all of these things and so much more. Be flexible, be open-minded, allow a higher power or the universe itself to use you for service. Try various things and use the time you have to find out what issues you are passionate about and pursue them in your professional life. You'll be successful if you follow your passion. Please remember that you will be successful if you follow your passion. Everything else will come. So the second piece of advice. Experience has shown me in my work that in social services you cannot help individuals and families without involving their communities. I'm going to repeat that. You cannot help individuals and families in social services without involving their communities. Many of you will have the opportunity to work directly with clients who are in need. In your work, always remember the value of community in the life of your client and strive to involve community and extended family in the work that you do with your clients. Community partnership and community linkages are critically important in working with people who are in need. Whether it is a community from which they have come or the community in which they will be residing, they must have some community connection to prosper and thrive in life. Neighborhood-based services and child welfare have demonstrated success in supporting families and in keeping children out of foster care. Community-based linkages for individuals and families who are exiting shelter have demonstrated success in keeping them stably housed and preventing them from re-entering shelter. The importance of our community partners cannot be understated. The third and final piece of advice that I will give you is that in your professional life, you must lead with compassion. Be tough on problems and not on people. Right? Whether it's staff, whether it's clients, I'm going to repeat it because I remember it and I want you to remember it. In your professional life, lead with compassion. Be tough on problems and not on people. So I learned early in my career that in human services work, sometimes your very best efforts may not be enough to ensure a good or a successful outcome for a client. In the high reliability field of child protection, this could not be more true. Predicting human behavior is not an exact science, and the practice of social work, just like the practice of law, is not an exact science. Most often, a bad event is viewed as a failure on the part of the staff who work directly with the client. The same is true when you're working with clients and their decisions. You have to decide, is a neglectful parent a bad person, or is a neglectful parent someone who made a bad decision? You have to make that decision as professionals. There's no quadratic equation, there's no algorithm that you can use in social services work to ensure the best outcomes for your clients. You can make your best efforts, and that has to be good enough. But do your best in everything that you do professionally and whatever it is that you pursue. And remember what someone told me, that if you lead with kindness, you can really make a difference in the life of everyone that you're working with. So take the knowledge and the experience that you've gained over the past years, lead with your head and with your heart, lead with kindness, and really make a difference in everything that you do. I thank you all for listening to me. I wish you all the very best in all of your professional pursuits, and I congratulate you all so much.